Check 1, 2, and the microphone check 1, 2, 1, 2. This is more than a test. Alright, Ripples. Oh, did we remember everything this time now that I'm settled in? Phone, chat, done. Boop. Pencil, sharpener, markers out of my backpack. Microphone seems to be microphoning. Some water. Perfect. Made the posts. Reference images. Do 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 do. Ah. Because we built this city. We built this city. We built this city on arts and crafts. Oh. Say you don't know me or subscribe to my stream. Too many other things making things seem too lame. I forgot to check this camera. That will be a shame. I'm sure it will work fine when we start a game. Ah, that's what it was. To grab the other paper in the other room. So when we play the countdown, we've got some paper to write on. I know that didn't rhyme now, but I think that's okay. 'Cause technically we haven't started. It's still starting soon today. Digging through my markers to find some real good ones. .5 and a .3, and of course a .1. Oh yeah. And alright. Forgot to test that thing, but now it's up on the screen. Space Goonie's got her dino mug, and she's ready to roll the thing. Hey there, Pat Prowse, with your corporation games. Who's running the ones and zeros? Who's taking all the names? Alright, let's start this rock and roll city. See if all the audio is set up properly. And intro button, go. Get out of here. Hey! Oh, there's some text in front of the Fantacan. I'll update that one of these days. But, new Fantacan. New Tuesday. What? Alright. Just being weird. Anyway, hi new Fantacan. He's got some subtle arm movements. Most of these all eyes. A little bit of mouth. But that Fantacan right there, The other Fanta cans, I'll admit, they were all Google. They were all Google cans. I didn't own any of those cans. Who knows where they came from? Who knows what they were used for in the past? Probably for advertising. This Fanta can, I got some pizza. I got a can of Fanta with it, and I took that photo of that Fanta can right over there just today. Pulled out the background and jammed some eyes and eyebrows on him. Now he's happy as it can be. He doesn't get as angry as the other characters do. Most of them usually have an angry streak in them. He's got a bit of an angry eyebrow that pops up, but it's not too. It's more of a what's going on over here than a I hate you and I wish you would burst into flames eyebrows. He's got some curiosity eyebrows. He's all over the road. Yep, as 100%. I drank all the Fanta that was in this guy. Look at me when I'm talking about you. I drank it all, right down to the bottom. Took that Fanta can, threw it into the recycling, and then realized I'm going to take a picture of that Fanta can about 24 hours later and pulled it out of the recycling. So technically it's mildly dirty Fanta can. But yeah, he's a lot less judgy than Dad Fanta can. But I was taking some Instagram pictures of my pizza and my can because I thought, hey, you know something I never do is, one, I always forget to make sure my phone stays on the whole time so that I can read all the chats. There we go. Okay, and why does it always do this? There we go. So yeah, I thought it would be fun. Hey, people are always jamming GIFs on their Instagram stories. I never do that. I never draw on them at all just because, well, I had a little stylus that was great, but that kind of broke. And I'm like, I gotta draw with my finger like a poor person? This is terrible. But I thought it would be fun to jam whatever blinky eyes they had. And they had some pretty great blinky eyes in the Instagram GIF library. And I got Fanta can just sitting there blinking. I added some arms with, just my finger and a little mouth. And I'm like, oh, you know what? Yeah, it's time for a new Fanta can. Like I always keep threatening myself. Because the other one, if you look real close, not even that close, if you look mildly close, right at the top, and I think somewhere else, I was just like Photoshop eraser instead of meticulously doing it. I did it just very quick without a whole lot of care. So yeah, he's got some invisible areas. But this one I took a little more care. I took a picture of him on a green background. That's why on his edges he's a little, he's got some green tint. I did not fix this camera from kicking it around under my desk. Moving things, try not to get sick. It's like on a boat when you look around real quick and the sea moves too much. And I thought I adjusted the light once again to shine right on this, but instead it's the darkest place in the whole room. So tilted. But close enough. Anyway, today I'm going to try and do an ant. The reference image that I have of this ant, it's just on a side view, so it looks a lot less disgusting than the other insects. But it also just kind of looks like a weird little bird, so you can't really see much of what's going on with its gross mouth area. And I like it like that. I'll just erase a bunch of this structure mess as best as I can. That hand's gonna be a mess. Ankle lines. And that should be good to start. Oh, snaps. Anyway, far as story time goes today, this week's episode feels real weird because, as always, I know that there are people watching through some other channels, if you will, that I don't see specifically popping up here, like the Space Goonie and Pat. So this doesn't quite count for you guys. You exist out there in all over parts of the world and parts unknown, because I don't know all the parts of the world. But Pat and the Goonie, I was just hanging out with, like, I don't know, I want to say a few hours ago, but just like 2 days ago. So it almost feels like, is this weird? Is this weird? Like, I feel like I already did this job. I'm just going to show up at work anyway. Like, hey, it's me, that electrician. Like, yeah, you were here like 2 days ago. You installed the light switch. Like, yeah, I did. I figured I'd come back around again on Monday to, I don't know, tell you some more stories. Like, electrician guy, you tell the most stories ever of any electrician guy ever. We just wanted the light switch, and then for you to go away, and that's what we were looking for. Yeah, I know so many weird stories from your life and the things that you hear. And you're back for more? Like, no, I'm not back for more. You're back for more. And they're like, what? That's not how this works. You showed up here. I'm like, I'm not in here with you. You're in here with me. And then I Rorschached them with a pan, and then wait, no, it's you guys. I didn't do that. I'm being nice to you guys. So, analogy got derailed into Watchmen. Remember a thumb. But no, what I'm really saying is, of course, it's weird to be like, I just told you guys all my stories like 2 days ago. Not a whole lot happened between now and then. So it's almost just like, hey, I'm here to install that light again. Like, you already did it. Well, let me do it again. Did you learn how to do it the first time? No. So this time we're going to do it again. You're going to follow along. You're going to put some markers on a lady with an ant for a head. For the sake of the stream. Now, most of them actually are when I say, hey, I already told you guys the stories. The story is, hey, what'd you do this week? I went and saw Space Goonie and Pat. But that's you guys. You were there for it. So remember that Chris Farley show? Remember that time? We were hanging out. It was real nice. It was super nice. I guess I'm going to make this purple. Did not take the time to make sure it's the lightest purple. Oh well, this one's going to get crazy. I'm just trying to think. Oh yeah, of course. I always have stories. And the other thing is, like, I keep thinking, like, and I covered everything else on the podcast. We just recorded a handful of podcasts, but I have not edited or uploaded any of those. So they'll go up this week, or one will probably go up tomorrow. And they're full of super great stories. They're just like, again, every new episode of the podcast, No Such Thing as Grown-Ups, is my new favorite episode of the podcast. Just recorded it, went back and listened to just the improv sections where we just improvise a scene based on some stories we're telling. And oh my god. Seriously. I don't like to brag about how amazing I am, but I was amazing in those improvs. I'm sure Tara was too. She was there. She made me laugh, I guess. But I was amazing in those improvs. Just genius. One was about the production of Pet Sematary. I guess this is going to be a purple ant. And that was just, delightful. Pretending to be the guy, like the cat handler, basically, or the animal handler for the movie, and the wacky hijinks that he causes. And I can't remember what the other one was like, or About to Save My Life, but so funny. And as always, if you are on the outskirts, if you aren't Pat or Jenny, I don't know who Jenny is. Who's Jenny? Who is Jenny? Who's Jenny? She said. No, I said. Who's Jenny? He said. Don't know any words from that song other than who is Jenny? Who's Jenny? He said. But who is that? I don't know. Don't know. Anyway, something, something, something. Space Goonie and Pat. I really don't care either. I just think it's funny. The only one I really like doing that to is Super Killers when he shows up. Just because, like I said last time, just like, I'm sorry, Super Killers. I know you, and Space Goonie, yep. You can be a total Space Goonie with that and your real name, fully interchangeable. We can have fun with that. It's silly good fun. But Super Killer and my friend Clyde, that's definitely two different people. Like, I get it. It's a fun gamer handle. But you're a super nice guy, raising a couple kids, doing his best to do his best all the time, and you're just not a super killer. You're just not a super killer, and I'm sorry. I know lots of people, they wish they were, they want to be super killers, but if anybody's not, it's Clyde, and I will always call him Clyde. Sometimes when you kill, it's usually super chill. You like playing your Fortnites or your Apex. And you run into some kids, and those kids are like, what the hex? Except they swear and call you a dirty old man. Auntie-M, Auntie-M. I went to a place. Wait, Auntie M. Is Auntie M from Wizard of Oz? Who is. Oh, wait. Who's Auntie M? Who's Auntie M? Auntie M, Auntie M. Yeah, that's the aunt from the Wizard of Oz that she's yelling to when she goes away. There we go. See, I know everything about old things. Yeah, Super Killers was telling me he gave the old Apex, the new Fortnite replacement a try, and those dirty teens or dirty kids told him, "Hey, like, you're too old for this. It's too complicated for your oldness." I can't remember the exact words. I'm sure it was something much meaner, but just straight up like, "How old are you? You don't belong here, old man. There's no way you're gonna figure out all of these keys to play this shooting game." And he's like, "Figure out what?" He's like, "I've been shooting people in games, for 40 years. Like, this is, I was raised on this stuff. Like, yeah, that's not what you want to say to angry teens that think you're too old. Just like, well, let me tell you about the experiences I have." Like, they don't care. They do not care. You have to take that experience and you have to use that against them. You got to destroy them. But like I said, things have happened. Nothing's happened. I drove home and I took a nap. But what did happen, speaking of video games and age brackets especially, I don't know if you guys ever watch Game Grumps. But every once in a while, I'll watch Game Grumps. And if you don't know, it's basically like a podcast where they're playing video games. And they're usually like 12-minute episodes, 15-minute episodes. And they'll try out a new game or they'll play some old game, whatever it is. They'll play a game. The game's on the screen. They're just talking and telling stories. Half the time, it's not about the game at all. So it's almost always super fun, funny stories. Every once in a while, it is totally about the game. And a lot of times, that's just as fun as well. Even though I'm super not a great gamer. But I don't have a nightly Mario Kart championship like Space Goonie and Pat. But the Game Grumps, that's mostly like anything I know about kind of video games or new kid stuff now. A lot of that I learned from Game Grumps. Packroyd? Holy snaps. I haven't heard that name in a million years. Packroyd. That was the blog. That was the original when blogspot.com was a thing. Holy snaps. Oh, Daryl. Daryl and the Packroyd. He's like, when... Oh, no, I got something. Some words just brewed in my head for a second there. When Metroid... Ah, damn it, I got nothing. Metroid is in a ball. He's like a little Pac-Man climbing up a wall. Metroid can go up and down walls, can't he? Sorry. Miss Pac-Man and Metroid, keeping the world from being destroyed. EA Sports. It's in the game, not on your blog. Start over, Daryl. Start over. But now you can move to Instagram or make a stream instead. So anyway, speaking of the gymming, yeah, Metroid. What? How do you say it? With one syllable somehow? You're crazy? Metroid? Yeah, I know it's Metroid, but Metroid is super fun. Pac-Man. You're just gonna play some Miss Pac-Man and Metroid? Hey, are you kids in there playing Miss Pac-Man and some Metroid? Back in my day, Metroid wasn't a 3D fella. We all thought he was a boy. Now Metroid's a girl, and it's all you can do 3D stuff. Am I right? Am I right, guys? Worst dad in the world.com. All right, now I'm putting too much on here. Too much. And let's put some color on these clothes for a little bit. That's what I was gonna do. What color and clothes? Let's give her a pale green outfit. Anyway, I was gonna watch some Game Grumps. Every once in a while, they have these like hour-long or more than an hour-long episodes, usually with a guest, where they just kind of just play a game for 1 hour and then show's over. There's one with Weird Al. One with Weird Al. It's kind of okay. A lot of times, it's people that aren't into video games. There was one with Rob Schneider that I don't think I ever made it through because, I don't know. I used to say like, hey, Rob Schneider's great, man. Like, Rob Schneider's actually pretty great. And seeing that Curb Your Enthusiasm style show of his is like, is he pretending to be the worst? Because that's fine. He's good at that. This is okay. And then after a while, I'm like, I'm sorry. I think I hate him. I think I hate him now. And then hearing him in real life, he surprisingly was an awful lot like the Real Rob TV show. And I didn't like it. I didn't like it. But anyway, most of the time, guests are having fun. They're having fun. It's a mind-bending situation. But this week, like just yesterday, an episode went up where it's like over an hour long, and it's the Game Grumps, Danny and Aaron, and this other guy, Tom, who is Jamie Lee Curtis's son, and also Jamie Lee Curtis is there to all play Mario Party. Now again, we only see the screen, we only hear Jamie Lee Curtis, who is 2 seconds in taking over the Game Grumps show. She's narrating, she's describing, she's introing everything, she's reacting to everything. It's probably between that one and I think the Dan Harmon episode was just really interesting. He had just a lot of really interesting stories to tell about TV and production and all those things while he was playing. Plus he plays video games, so he knew what was going on. And I want to say the Rob Hubel episode, I think they played Scooby-Doo in that one. Game was terrible, but Rob Hubel is just so funny. And again, still interesting, telling interesting stories. But this Jamie Lee Curtis episode, wow. Wow, like I recommend it. If you've ever watched a Game Grumps style show, go back and watch this one. But maybe it might be a show that you can't get into. Definitely took me a while to be okay with like, yeah, I'm just gonna watch people tell a story while Mario Maker is being played on screen. This one I'm gonna treat a little different. I'm just gonna try to put some like sloppy color in, and then we're gonna do all the work with black lines this time. If you're following along at home in your own notepad, your own little watercolor sketchbook, and making a little ant-faced person. And I feel like this green was a terrible choice, but too late now. So anyway, minute one, she's like just swearing for like the first 5-10 minutes, and then she's like, "Oh, shh." Oh, they were like, "What's going on?" She's like, "Oh, I was just upset, like because you beat me." And this blue feels too blue. These colors are gonna be ridiculous. This is like Rob Liefeld colors over here. Oh, that's a lot lighter than I thought it was. So she's swearing. Then she goes to react harshly to something, and she stops herself, and she's like, "Oh my God, I'm sorry. Like, am I allowed to say that here?" They're like, "Yeah, you can say whatever you want." And then it was just like, who is Jamie Lee Curtis? Who is she? Like, she was super fun, and interesting. She didn't even really tell that many stories or anything. It was mostly all about the playing of Mario Party, like literally just listening to Jamie Lee Curtis and some young people who are my age, because it's Danny's birthday the day after they recorded that, and he was turning 40, and I'm like, oh wow. I keep thinking of these as like the Game Grumps kids. And I'm actually younger than them, or at least one of them. I think I'm older than the other one. Excuse me. So there's that. At first they were like, "Oh, so Jamie Lee Curtis's son is here," and I thought like, "Oh, well, they must have hooked this up." The kid was probably a huge fan, and Jamie Lee Curtis is Jamie Lee Curtis, so it's like, "Hey, I'll come be on your Game Grumps nonsense if you play Mario Party with my son." And then as they started talking, it was like, oh, her son is like a Game Grump of his own. He's on a bunch of other channels, so it's like, of course, like they kind of know who he is already. And plus, just bringing Jamie Lee Curtis in on the whole thing. Yeah, it's like an hour long, so it's a good watch, or it's a good listen, I guess. But I don't know. You guys played Mario Party and stuff like that, so you'll actually know what's going on. The new Mario Parties, like I don't even understand what's going on. It's too crazy. Even the old Mario Parties were still kind of crazy for me. But yeah, now it's the whole board game world system. Too much work. Too much work. I'm here just for mini game, and then tell me who won. But no. So they explained that one, Jamie Lee Curtis showed up with her son. She's very proud of him. She's just like, he's the best. He's going to destroy you. Like, we're definitely going to win, even though this is your profession. She made fun of the Game Grumps for the fact that they're professional video game players on YouTube, and that's a big joke to her. But again, mostly just having fun with it because she's the nicest lady in the world. She brought cupcakes with penises on them. The lady who sells the yogurt, you know who I'm talking about, Fanta Can. The yogurt lady, she brought them, here's cupcakes with penises on them. Which I get, it's hilarious, it's crazy. Like if a giant, nice celebrity showed up with that, it's nothing but a story for the rest of your life. And I'm sure they were wonderful cupcakes. She was terrible. She's terrible at Mario Party. I won't spoil who won or what happened there. Mostly she made fun of Aaron fairly incessantly, like his actual real life appearance and his life, which was again also just super hilarious. Well, I guess she's gonna have to have the green shoes to match. But the craziest thing, and you'll have to see it, yourself, listen to it yourself anyway, and then we can discuss it next week. But the craziest thing that I don't even know how to process, honestly. That's why I have streams and podcasts and YouTube channels and what have you, is to help me process insane things in the world. So this is something that happens. Now, Danny, who I did a quick doodle of while I was watching one of the other Game Grumps things where it actually does show their faces, was like, oh man, like, I gotta do a doodle of this guy. He just seems too easy to draw, and nobody is as easy to draw as you think they are, but I did it anyway. But Danny also has a band or two. One is called Ninja Sex Party, and just super funny, super amazing songs, very elaborate videos, great stuff. His voice is amazing. Does a lot of covers of like his favorite songs, and they sound great. But whatever. Just establishing a little background information. Dan can sing. He can sing real well. So, of course, a 3D printer is just like a sketchbook. It's just like a chalkboard. It's just like any other means of creating things. And if there's a way to create things, we draw a wiener on it. We draw a wiener on it. We make a wiener with it. We turn it into a wiener. And why wouldn't you use a 3D printer to print out wieners? And if it was an office, then you're going to leave little 3D wieners all over the office. That's just a fact of life. You take the good, you take the bad, and then you draw a wiener on it. The facts of life. The facts of life. 'Cause the world never seems to be living up to your dreams. Meteoroid comes and she draws a wiener on your things. Meteoroid wieners on your things. So she requests Dan to sing her some specific song that I've never heard of in my life before. And that's fine. There's a lot of songs I've never heard of before. I'm not saying that's not my issue in this story. My issue in the story is the son, Jamie Lee Curtis's son, just like, oh, it's this song. Like, he jumps at it like, oh, I know my mom's favorite song that you have to sing. I don't know the name of the song, but the name of the song is something like, sweet lovemaking, tender lovemaking, crying and holding each other, romance.com, the song. And it's just like, wait, what now? Wasn't super paying attention. There's like 4 people there. There's some crosstalk. I may have missed something, but it sounds like her son jumped in there with the words that I don't think you should be saying around your mom. I don't know. It's weird. Odd Princess 710 is now following. Thanks, hype out again. Oh, or OG Princess. Did I say Og Princess? Oh, I'm the worst. I am the whitest, oldest person in the world. OG Princess 710. She's the original princess and queen of all men. Speaking of awkward songs, what was I gonna do here? The song is whatever. Basically, what I said in the weird title there. It's basically a song that is just like, again, very, I'm gonna say romantically sung, only because like his voice is so great that it just sounds like a beautiful dream of love, but kind of creepy. Like, hey, the stranger is singing this to me, or the stranger is singing this to my mom, and the words go kind of like, Thanks, OGP. This is actually Packroyd's idea from a few comments above. 'Cause normally we do dinosaur heads on things or just weird things, and now we're doing some sexy insect heads on bodies instead of sexy dinosaur heads on bodies. Or sloths, or lucky cats, or Mike Dowdy's. I drew that the other day. That's Eureka Love. You can go follow her on Instagram as well. She does drag shows nearby. But yeah, so Danny's singing to Jamie Lee Curtis, which in and of itself is just like, this is insane. That's why I can never have somebody on this, because I can only sing at Inanimate Cans. There's no way, Fanta Can, that I can have a Jamie Lee Curtis here and then, you know, I would just make up weird songs. And I can't remember, but it's basically, it's, I don't know, maybe you'll know this song and you can help me out. But the words that we're singing were just that. It's just all about making love and how like just so melodic, so like no music, just like, I'm gonna cry before we make love. And when I've made love to you, I'm gonna cry again, Stu. And it's just that, but that's not the weird part. Like, that's not actually the weird part. It is a weird part because it's somebody, you know, singing to Jamie Lee Curtis on their video game show, and that's mind exploding. But the brain-breaking part is that her son is like quietly singing along with Danny as he is serenading Jamie Lee Curtis. Jamie Curtis in this equation is the mom to the other kid, to the kid. So now he is, you know, regardless, if somebody's kind of being serenaded, you don't join in unless you're part of that band, part of that singing troupe. You're an amazing singer. Like, there's only a few reasons to jump in on a serenade. And this kid didn't seem like a great singer. He was just joining in to the words about crying after making love to you, but that's your mom, and it seemed like it didn't even go on that long. Like, it was, but it almost stopped, and it's just like, all right, like, he sang it and the kid was joining in. It's like, this is uncomfortable for me, and maybe that's why they stopped, because they knew I was listening. But it was done, and then Jamie Lee is like, hey, like, hold on, like, what, did you treat me like a Fanta can over here? Like, I know I want the chorus too. So then he does the chorus, and the kid is still joining along with that, and it's like, she's fine with it. She's fine with this. Everyone's fine with this. I don't know. I thought that was super weird. The rest of the show, the whole hour, is again just amazing. Just Jamie Lee Curtis trash talking these guys. These guys kind of fighting with Jamie Lee Curtis. And again, a few trivia things, you know, like asking questions about Halloween and whatnot. But for the most part, nothing but fun. No actual malicious hate towards each other in their hate talk, as near as I could tell. And but yeah, that one part is it's just wicked weird, wicked weird. And I don't know. Like, it's literally like, I don't know. It's not even something you need to process, because it's the world. It's the world. You see weird things and then you move on with your life. Or you wait till Tuesday and you tell the people on the internet, here's what I saw this week. OGP, Pac Metaroid. Would you like to put this information up on your fridge? Would you like a dinosaur book? All right. It's a good mess. I'm just gonna start going through the page now. So let's start adding some lines. Let's get silly with lines over here. That one's too thin. 0.5. All right, we're gonna do some kind of sketchy fun with this. Not gonna get so crazy. That's basically, yeah, that's what this is. Sometimes we don't even get to last week. It's just like, all right, here's what happened 10 minutes ago in the hallway with Maniacs. Like I said, the only real update on the Maniacs from last week was that I ran into the lady who was being the most crazy forever. And then she was just like, weather, everything's normal, how's it going? Like, you can be normal? You have that capacity? This is more infuriating than any stomping around, any screaming, any craziness that you've ever done is finding out that you have the capacity to not be crazy. I'm offended. I'm offended by that. And feel like you owe me something. But yeah, that's the craziest thing the crazies have done. Ooh. I can't say, like, other than the old neighbors that I have, I'd just be like, yeah, they seem like weird meth people. They definitely weren't. They were just hillbillies. But I know I've definitely been at the like drugstore, at the pharmacy, waiting for a prescription or something like that, and it's only ever been at like the one down by you guys when I used to live there, where they had the methadone. I don't know, I just call it the methadone clinic. They had the one partition where weird junky looking people would stand and wait to get one little pill, and then they'd go off and be mildly happy for a little while. And it was a million years before I found out or realized, like, oh, that's that thing that I've heard about on podcasts where people on meth go and get a little bit of meth to keep them off meth, like a flu shot. But I mean, I'm sure, like, again, half the stories of those crazy people being crazy, some at least one of them was probably a meth story, and I had no idea. Oh, El Guapo. How does one cheer up Granite? Hmm. The only answer I can think to that is, oh hey, you must have kids. That sounds like a joke that kids or a riddle that kids come up with, or come home with, I should say. How do you cheer up Granite? Is it Granite loves crickets? Uh, yeah, I assume the real answer is something like "don't take it for granted" or whatever, some kind of play on words, some kind of children style wordplay. Yeah, I don't know enough about the world of stone or cheering up. But I guess if the answer is crickets, then I guess it is. You bring in a bag of crickets. See you later, Packroyd. Have fun storming your troopers. Oh, that was a good one. I just watched the train set episode of Brooklyn Nine-Nine last night, actually, or it was just on in the background. And I'm gonna say it's not one of my favorite episodes, but at one point when Jeffers and Holt both make a train set and they get the kid, they're like, no, but still pick one. Like, which one is less lame? They're like, give me a video game. This is stupid. You guys are crazy. And Holt just says "get out" to a small child. Best part in television ever. Best part. Well, that and the other part that's the best is when the Jeffers is kind of explaining to Holt that trains aren't cool, and he was like, "Oh yes, I've discovered that." So he's talking to his husband on the phone, just being like, "So anyway, can you believe this guy? He thinks you can just use a scale 45 with a scale 18, whatever, saying train talk." And then the next thing he says is just like, "Oh yes, you can hang up now." Ah, magical. But I don't know, the greatest parts of that show are always any moment where Holt goes beyond being normal and does something silly. It just kills me every time. I know there was something else that was story worthy weird, but maybe not big enough to be a story, but just one of those. Hey, what's the deal with this? That I learned. Oh no! I learned of a fun podcast fact that I wanted to share with the world. It was. Oh, it's in here somewhere. Scroll through. Ah, damn it. Maybe it'll come to me. If you go out in the street tonight, don't you need a good disguise? If you go out in the street tonight and you're drunk with the guys, if you get hungry before you get home, a man in the street will throw you a bone. 'Cause tonight's the night the street vendors... No. If you go out on the street tonight, if you get hungry and you're out drunk and you would like some meat, there's some on a stick and it's for sale for just you to eat. Maybe it's good and maybe it's bad, maybe you'll poop, maybe you'll be sad, but tonight's the night the teddy bears have their picnic. Can't seem to get to anything other than teddy bears having a picnic. I mean, if you do have a small or medium-sized cow carcass in the back of your truck, that's pretty close. That's pretty close. You just got to grind and fry, and you got some donair, guy. Well, I don't love this one. But it's a pinup with an insect head. It's a pinup with an insect head. If you saw it in real life, you'd be dead. Auntie Em and a street meat fight. She doesn't have enough to get herself a bite, so she puts up her dukes and uses all her might to punch the meat guy to Oz, and then she steals the rest alright. Auntie M, she's not out to make friends. Auntie M, she's just here to steal from them. One of these days. One of these days. Ripley! Hey, sweet angel. You might pass me those post-it notes? No? You don't have any thumbs still? Alright. Don't stop thinking about tomorrow. Don't stop. Countdown will soon be here. There was a time. The reason characters on TV know how much the other characters owe them money is because writers at certain levels who write these shows are poor, and they know exactly how much money their friends owe them because they need to, because they definitely need that money to survive. How is it I can't... Alright, just move this completely for a second. There we go. Because there was a time when I knew exactly how much a few different people owed me money. And then one day I was like, you know what? Forget it. Forget it. I'm never getting this money. I'm just going to be counting more and more for the rest of my life, like a psychopath. And I just moved on with my life. I'm going to find the random letter generator. And we're going to play some countdown. We're going to give you 9 letters. I'm going to throw 30 seconds on the clock. Yeah, I have a clock to throw on. And within 30 seconds, you're going to come up with the longest word that you can. Longest word wins. 1 word only for submission purposes. D is your first letter. B is the second letter. L is the third letter. Gonna try and get some vowels here. O is our first vowel. A is our second vowel. And then H. Consonante. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 3 more. 3 more letters. And 2 more letters, and an I, another vowel. And I'm running out of room on the page, so for our final letter, S. I'll put it at the beginning here. Now, hopefully that reads well. Switch back over to this. And let's start the countdown clock. 30 seconds. Make a long word. Feel like a winner. Boop. I think 4? 4 is the best I got. Proper nouns as in names of places and people. No, they do not, unless those names are also something else, like Pomegranate Johnson. You could use pomegranate because it's also a thing. 5s from Space Goonies, so I'm the loser today. And Pat, Salty Egos is following. I got some Egos. I got some Egos. I got some Egos and they're salty. And hosting, all snaps. These Egos need some syrup because these Egos are wicked salty, yup. Loans, oh man, why didn't I see that? So Pat's coming in with loans. Space Goonies got solid. El Huapo, if you wanna come in with your name. Loads, oh my god, that's a good one too. Loans to a snail. Oh, those are all great. Can't believe I only got a 4. I can't believe I only got a 4. Ah, now I'm the salty snail. Of course, a salty snail is a dead snail because salt kills snails. But a salty ego, also, I'm going to say not a good idea food-wise, but I don't know, that's why the other song was going to drift into I need some syrup. What? I need some syrup. Yeah, I need some syrup. What? I need some syrup. Hey, because these Eggos are salty. Oh, salty snail loads. That is a real good word for that thing. We're not going to discuss that anymore. But from now on, if you're having a sexy time, and the other person has a fun sense of humor, I still can't see it working out. I still can't see it working out in your favor. But hey, lady, you wanna get some salty snail loads over here? Salty snail loads. No, it just gets worse. Just gets worse. Yeah, let's not do that. Let's not do that, Fanticamp. Ooh, that's better. As a band name is probably good. Even just the Salty Snails, I think, as a band. Snail load. There's too many. The word loads. It's troublesome. It's troublesome. How long has this been? Oh, this has been a relatively quick stream, comparatively to most. But we did our pinup with an ant head, with an insect head. We played some Countdown. We managed to remember some stories about the internet, at least today. That was the podcast thing I heard was that damn it, I cannot remember it now. But basically, yeah, it was like the guy who made Seinfeld, Larry Charles, not Larry David or Jerry Seinfeld, the other guy that was an amalgam of their names, who's made like every TV show in the history of TV shows. He was talking about, I cannot remember what specific one it was, but something that happened in real life to, I think it was him, maybe it was Larry David, but one of the things that, again, we all hear like, oh, things on Seinfeld, like it actually happened to a bunch of these people. But one of them was just like, that's not a thing that can happen in real life. Yeah, that was his name, Larry Charles. But he was on Raised by TV with Lauren Lapkus and Dan Gabris there, and lots of just really amazing stories. And I can't remember that Seinfeld one; it just left me again. But the other stuff, talking about he worked on Borat and Bruno, and how he got a thrill out of it. He was like, it was great. You go into a place, you'd film this thing that, he was just being subversive, but it was like he was still, he's still being the good guy. But with Borat, he was innocent. He got away with more because he seemed like, oh, I'm innocent. I don't know what's going on. And people let him get away with things. Whereas with Bruno, just showing up, it was, hey, we don't approve of you just by looking at you because we're horrible people. And if he did get troublesome, if he did get subversive, as was, the whole point of the thing, was to point out how people couldn't handle things. They had to escape. They had to get out of there. Stuff happened. And Larry Charles was just like, that's my thing. Like, I tried stand-up. I tried this and that. But my thing is just writing. But I am great with confrontation with you. Like, I kind of love dealing with people like that. And it was kind of a thrill to be in the car like, oh my God, I can't believe we did that, escaping from these scenarios they set up. And having, he's like, I loved dealing with the cops. Like, just, hey, yeah, call this production, this movie studio. And of course, if he's saying like, I'm the guy who made Seinfeld, like, carry on, sir. You'll never be arrested. You'll never be arrested for creating Seinfeld. But anyway, how he got into the whole world of making television comedy, all that stuff, was like back in the old days, he'd wait outside of some comedy place and he would just literally like try to sell people jokes. And that's what it was. So yeah, he started by, going up to comedians, trying like, here's some material. And I forget the comedian, somebody famous that you would remember. He was like, all right, cool. He's like, if it works, if it gets a laugh, I'll give you $10. So he goes up and he's like, and I could stand in a place where I could still see the show and I could see if it got a laugh. I made $10. Like, it was amazing. And that's just mind blowing. So at one point, you know, he would always write scripts, and he was like, and the only way to really get to people, he's like, I would take, you know, like valet jobs, boy jobs, like just jobs, you know, in Hollywood basically. So I would see these famous people, and I would try to sell them jokes, try to sell them material, try to give them a script. So the story, when Kramer tries to force and kind of hunt down Fred Savage to get him to read his script in the show, that really happened, except with Richard Dreyfuss, and Larry Charles was just like, hey, I'm not, you know, never going to have this opportunity again, so I've got to get this to him. I want to say he was working at a restaurant. Maybe it was a car parking thing. I can't remember. But he saw Richard Dreyfuss, so he runs to his car, grabs the script, runs back, and is just like charging down Richard Dreyfuss. Richard Dreyfuss is terrified, like just terrified of this whole situation, which you should be. And it sounds like, you know, this Larry Charles guy is like a 6'7", 6'6" type guy. So he doesn't seem not intimidating. And from the jokes they were making, they were like, oh, this is when I was more unkempt. And it sounded like they were making jokes about how, you know, when's the last time you cut your hair? Like, you look like a derelict crazy person. And he also did back then and was chasing people down. So, like, he was the Kramer, I guess. And yeah, so that's where that one came from. But yeah, he had all these amazing stories about, you know, all of those weird stories you hear where it's like most people like, hey, I showed up, and it's like, get out of here, you're nothing. And the other ones that are like, yeah, what happened? You know, I Fight Clubbed them. Like, well, what? Like, yeah, I meatloafed Fight Clubbed them. I just stood on their front door for weeks and weeks and weeks until I was working there. And I've seen that happen, you know, at regular jobs where it's just like, hey, you work here now? Like, yeah, I just hung out here enough until it just happened. And sometimes that just happens. But I don't know, that part was just, you know, hunting somebody down with a script I thought was really funny / interesting. And I can't think of any of the other weird stories that have come up this week. But everybody, it's time to either go to bed or watch Jamie Lee Curtis play Mario Party. We've drawn some dinosaurs. We played some counting down word games. And we've tried to figure out how to cheer up Granite. Don't take it for granted. Just don't. Treat it nice. Paint it. Paint a big old heart. Granite. Nothing inside. Rocks are dead inside. You don't need to cheer them up. Anyway, I'm gonna say everybody have a good night. Ripley. Let's end this thing and say goodnight, everybody. Drawing done, and see you next Tuesday for more of whatever this thing is and why. We meet up every week to talk about the nonsense of the world. Masavenia. It's the circle of life. Where are the credits? Can never remember which one. Don't forget to keep up with the podcast on your Spotify or iTunes or wherever your podcasts balloon. That didn't make sense, but I don't care. We're just having fun, drawing pictures till noon. Do. La 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 la. D. Follow along on Instagram for most of the updates and the doing things, the goings-ons. All the updates are there before, after, during the stream.